Hello? Hello? Is anyone here? Hello? Is this thing on? Yes, Mike, hello? Right? Like you'd think it'd just work. Doesn't. I hit the go live button. Oh shit, I should probably turn off the fucking feedback so you guys don't hear that, huh? All right. Oh, we got one chat message. Okay, hold on. My dog's outside. I tried to get him in before the stream started. He did not come in. Cade, you out here? Cade! This is the most professional stream you've ever witnessed. Um, oh my god, there's that. I know people said that, like, oh, I might watch the stream. Amazed that people are tuned in a second. Come on, Cade, inside, please. All right. Let me get my whole setup going. Yeah, I've been like trying to crunch to get this stream all set up for the past like 2 hours. And it's not easy, man. They make it look easy on the videos. It's not. Um Before we get like too deep into it, audio levels good, like visuals good. Are we sitting all right? Anything you guys think I need to change right now, or is everything all right? Looking forward to the stream. Thank you. That's very, very nice. I was hoping to get a I've been working on a Beyond video for a little bit of a minute now. Um Stealing the thumbnail. Wow. Looks good, sounds good. All right, that means I did a pretty decent job. I've been working on this Beyond video and it's like coming together, but like was not able to finish it because like I've been fussing with Obsidian way too much lately. It like updated recently and then I had to down patch and like do all sorts of shenanigans, but that's besides the point. Actually, I can probably pull this over here and then we have this as a primary note-taking window. And then I can pull this out like so. All looking good. All right. Well, I suppose we should just start out with it, huh? Um this was a fun chapter. I really liked it. You know, I I love the Succession War, right? I mean, I think we all do. I feel like that's a given. Um and it's people always complain that it's nothing ever happens the manga. Shit happens, man. Like for all the doubters that were saying shit, like stuff happens. Stuff happened a lot actually. This is probably is this the most exciting chapter of the entire arc? Can we say that? I mean, maybe this is the most happening in a chapter, right? But like mechanically, like it's really interesting. So, starting off, we again get the declaration of martial law, right? This is kind of our fucking time setter for every entrance of the chapter. And one thing I did notice, I don't know how intentional it is, but if I pull out, let's see here, I believe it is, if I pull out 411 and 89, I want to say, these are the two chapters that we look into the double VIP area. And one thing I noticed when 411 came out is that there was another sort of fucking little pattern of the VIP room. And that is that, oh, fuck, I forgot. It doesn't save my little location here. If we scroll all the way back down again, fuck me. You see that we kind of get an entrance of the hallway. We get to see the VIP number, and then we get a mirror reflection scene here, right? And that pattern actually repeats the same time at 411, right? We get the hallway, the exact number, and then this time we get Sarah Hell, I think her name is, doing her whole makeup routine. But in this chapter, notably, we didn't. That's probably just due to the fact that this is an external force entering, I have to assume. Um, oh, we got a chat question. Did Benjamin kill Camilla and we ain't see yet, or did he just move on to the fourth prince to kill since he got cursed and did not know what was gonna happen? Um, I had the same question because the scans that I read were very bad, but no, Camilla's poisoned. We'll get to that shortly. All right. I'll just fucking actually I want this to be the main panel. I haven't like decided how I want to fucking set up these live stream things. So we get another page with Benjamin Fierce. 12 hours from symptom onset to death. That's the TSK 17 timer. He has 10 more hours on the board because he got poisoned. Well, no, he became symptomatic around 1:45. It is 2:15, right? So it's been a little bit. He's half an hour down about. They have a little standoff here. Benjamin, I love it. I love fucking Benjamin's energy this chapter. It's awesome. He's very good. Martial law, do you desire a shootout? Bring it on. You have 3 seconds to decide. And they just move, right? Of course. Benjamin, he says, is don't move, stay there. He starts talking to Camilla. And Camilla, this is a weird panel sequence to me, because like, did she flip around and sit up all at the same time, or did he move to the front of where she was laying? I can't tell, because here it's just like she sat up. So did she fucking turn her back 180 and then sit up to get the shot? I don't know. Interesting regardless. And Benjamin just fucking boom boom gets him done. And this is where a lot more of the interesting stuff happens. So Benjamin from who is it? Musei's ability, right? Mr. Owlman. He knows that Camilla's beast is counteractive, right? When she dies, it crushes the other person. And uh yeah, that's what she says. Fuck me. Why aren't you shooting me? It's pathetic. You can lock me up, starve me to death, but like it'll be a waiting game, man. And here we get to see that Furikov and is this Butch? I believe this is Butch. Yeah, rest in peace, the maids caught in the crossfire. Moswana across the other side of the room kills herself, and the first have not curse gets procced. This is the first have not curse that we've seen. Lillian Olsen, is that her name? Not. Is it? I don't remember. The translator. Um we get to see Dust in the Wind, Hellfruit, and it activates onto Benjamin. And we get this I like he gets like fucking Sharingan here, right? What's up with that? I don't quite know. I think some people have said that it looks I need to fucking have a right window. Can I drag this out to the right? There we go. Because every time I drag out a new chapter, it's going to reset my position. I know some people were saying that the eye motif that Benjamin gets is similar to the general spirit motif that these guys have, right? You get to see these like kind of looking faces with the like blackout eyes and mouth. And that lines up, I think. I think that's a good reading. I think that's looks very similar to what's happening here. Um I had also thought with the really poor scans that I initially saw that like I couldn't tell if Benjamin was getting like dried out or what exactly was going on there, right? Because it's hard to tell. Like it almost to me kind of looks like he's turning into wood, right? It almost kind of looks like wood grain a little bit, right? Um I don't think that's part of it necessarily. But that is an interesting thing to note at least. Because from what was it, 414, when Furikov and him are talking, that like cursing is part of his plan to become God King Emperor, whatever he's doing with this beast, right? And so Camilla says, the curse is complete, you poor fool. Oswana focused on that for years. It is at peak potency, you won't last half a day. You can panic now. Uh Benjamin Jerky. Yeah, he is looking a little fried. And not in like a weed way, not in a fun way. Um we are going to talk a whole lot about curses and how curses work in a second, but I think I might save that till we wrap up our initial reading of the chapter because that's a whole discussion, right? Humans can survive without eating or drinking. This is Camilla's thoughts. For 3 to 7 days, I can lower my metabolism to the bare minimum and go to a near hibernation state for 3 months. That's a Camilla upscale. Can we be honest? That's why the fuck could she do that? I don't know. Regardless, I think it's really funny. I did have a thought of like since Camilla's like obsessed with her beauty and clothes and like a sort of vanity that like she developed like an ED over her weight and she just got really good at not eating food. Um yeah, no wonder she's so skinny, right? Like, I don't know, maybe she got really good at not eating food and just developed this ability over time, and that's how she can do this. I also think to an extent this is a bit of a spoof, a bit of a ruse on Camilla's part cuz I don't 3 months I think is too long even for her for her supposed ability. I think this is more just trying to imply to Ben that like if you put me in a cage, I'm going to outlast the war, right? If you can't kill me and you can't win the war cuz I won't perish by the end, right? I think that's all she's trying to get across here. I think this is a bluff on Camilla's part. She could probably survive a month, maybe a month and a half, but 3 months feels a little outlandish even for her. Just girly things. Yeah, she's been skimping out on girl dinners, huh? She's been skimping. Also, what is her little arm bracelet thing here? I have no clue what that is. With Nen, it's possible since it slows down death. Yeah, I mean, there's that thing with Netero of like slowing his metabolism and doing all sorts of bullshit, but he was also like an expert enhancer, you know what I mean? So I don't quite know. I think it's because it covered yeah, this bluff is just meant to cover the weakness of her ability that she can die without somebody murdering them. This is just she's just trying to put Benjamin into a corner where his only solution is to somehow kill Camilla because that's a good situation for her, right? Yurikov broke her arm when she tried to kill Ben. I don't believe she did. She was restrained. Oh, did she? Oh no, she did break it. You're actually right. Totally forgot about that, huh? There was a bit of a snap. Yeah, forgot about that. That's a really good point. Um, there's some other shit going on with Furikov too. I might bring up momentarily. Actually, yeah, we'll get into this. I've had this sort of side theory for a bit about Camilla's spirit beast. Because it looks like a sea anemone, and all of Dwazel's children are based on like poisons and concoctions and uh all those manner of things. And so one thing I noticed immediately when 414 came out is Furikov took off his little bandage that he always wears. You can see in 412 he's wearing a bandage, right? You can see it on his face right there. And this occurs, what, early morning, day 12, right? About like 10, I think, is that scene. And if we move, oh, wait, no, it's 413. My dumbass. We move to 413 here. When the arrow fires and shit starts going really bad for Ben, he notices infection. He knows it must be Furikov. He goes to look, and when he talks to Furikov, would you look at that? He doesn't have a bandage, right? This is 1:45 p.m. on day 12. And if we go back to what is it? 373. This is really testing my conceptions here. This is when Camilla does her blam blam shoot shoot. Shoots Muse. We see her ability work for the first time. She goes, and we see that Furikov gets hit, and this is the wound on day 2. This is afternoon day 2. We don't know exactly when. And this is where Furikov receives his wound that he wears a bandage for the rest of the arc, right? Then we also see that Furikov directly touches Camilla, right? And maybe that plays into her Guardian Spear Beast because 412, again, day 12 morning, he is wearing the bandage. Day 12 afternoon, he's not wearing the bandage. And if we take the Camilla scene to be day 2 afternoon, early afternoon maybe. This would be exactly 10 days after Furikov got hit and touched Camilla that he stopped wearing the bandage here. Um, Whether that's anything, I don't fucking know, man. I just noticed it with how like annoyingly intentional Togashi is with so much of this arc so far. Like maybe it's something, maybe it's not. Yurikov is acting a little weird. I mean, he's a weird guy, but it's still that's a little too weird for me. So like IMO, if anyone's being manipulated by Camilla, it'd probably be Furikov, just because like he's the only one that was anywhere close to being in contact. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. There's people saying that like everyone is committed, like manipulated by Camilla. I like this is my best guess. I think he's our best candidate. Going back to chapter 400 or 416 now. We get Benjamin's great monologue here. Saying if I infected you with a disease and we say it's incurable, looking fucking menacing. Am I the one killing you or the disease? If it's the disease, would a virus have enough aura to bring you back to life? Even if I'm the one responsible for your death, I have the same disease, and if I died first, who would your ability kill to bring you back to life? I don't fear death. What about you? Holy aura. Um, this is one thing that I didn't notice in the shitty scans that I saw, but there is on his boot here the little psst and the little scribbles there. He definitely deployed TSK 17, assuredly. I think that's also supported by Kirikov and Butch being on the complete opposite side of the room beforehand here. They're out of range of TSK 17. Benjamin's the only one within range with Camilla. Um, and since he's already procced or has died or has gotten infected by TSK, fuck me. This put down the timer onto Camilla. But excuse me. One thing I don't know is that we don't know what Benjamin's plan is with like inheriting the throne, becoming like a god guardian spirit beast thing. But Ben's body, regardless, is going to die before Camilla's. How that impacts things or how that plays out with anything, we obviously have no clue. Um, but I just want to make that clear that Ben's body is going to die first, right? And then we see can Camilla just have someone else kill her to heal her to the point where it resets the disease count? That's actually a really good point, GOC. I have never thought of that, but that yeah, that is a very smart idea. There's a manga called Ajin, Demi-Human Ajin, which if you haven't read it, very good read. But basically, it's people who are immortal. They can kill themselves and revive themselves. And since you can't kill them, the only way to subdue them is to use tranks, right? To use like a tranquilizer dart. But then the Aijin are just like, oh, you tranked me? Yeah, I'm just gonna kill myself. And then like now I'm regenerated, right? Now I'm alive again. Maybe that could work, maybe that wouldn't. Um like we don't know if she how her body regenerates really, I guess is the prominent question there. We look at 373, like the blood and viscera. The cat needs the person, pops it into her. We never see her what the regeneration mechanic is. Like I'd assume the parts of her body that aren't wounded stay the same, right? I mean, who knows? I guess it depends on what the virus conceptualizes as wounded or whatever else. But yeah, killing herself to get rid of the disease, that is a play I hadn't thought of. That's a really good point. I like that a lot, actually. Um, it'd probably be safer to subdue her because she does have the gun on her, right? So yeah, I don't know how that would she'll get fucking oh god, what's his name? It's not Lynch. Lynch is the one that died. What's the guy, the bloodbender? What's his name? Christ's sake, why am I forgetting it? Camilla can get that guy to just fucking bend the blood out of her. Or can he only bend his own blood? I guess we haven't seen that, huh? Regardless, I'm getting off topic, dangerously so. Um we see Benjamin start to head towards Saradnik's room. Fourth prince is inside. There are 20 in there, including the prince. Telling who the royal army is going to be difficult. Go by the book. Shoot when you must. Shoot whom you must. Zakuro. That's right. Zakuro. Custard, I think is his last name. It's Zakuro Custard, right? I'm pretty sure. I like the idea that Tubepa will save her. Yeah, I have a lot to talk about with Tubepa. We'll probably hold that to the end of this chapter for a second. Because we get Saraynik is the other big topic we got to talk about here. I was actually working on a Saraynik video this morning when I woke up, hopefully trying to get that out before today so I could get some more motion into the stream, but that didn't happen. That didn't occur. So, oh well, not that big of a deal, really. I like his cocking shirt, like the Calvin Klein stuff. That's very funny. But we see Saraynik in Zetsu. Salkov comments that his Zetsu is seamless even through the alarm, or his nerves made of steel. And we get this flashback scene here where he has a gun, Saraynik does, or fuck me, Salkov gives Saraynik his gun. Saraynik's like, I'm gonna use it on the first prince. And then Saraynik asks Salkov if his name is Salkov, which, remember, this is not one of Saraynik's friends. This isn't a Hunter Association guy either. This is someone that Theta hired, I want to say, as like a special user for Saraynik's guard. So it makes sense here that Saraynik doesn't know his name because it's probably a very new guard for him for this voyage specifically. There's something I need you to do. Anything, sir. I'm about to die. It's going to be a ruse, but tell everyone exactly what you saw. Then put my body in a coffin right away so nobody sees it. Don't tell anyone about my ability. Also, I want to shout out Voracious Drake. If you guys don't know Voracious Drake's blog, go here. You know what? I'm gonna hold on. Let me get a link to his blog real quick that I can shout out. Voracious Drake is probably like the most, like, if you want to have informed discussions about Hunter x Hunter, like Succession War stuff, you gotta go here. He provides his own translations for pretty much everything, every new chapter, and he goes over a lot of the intricacies, missed details, alternate readings, like all of the parts of translation that things could get lost in context, things could get lost due to such things that the translator doesn't have, the English translator Lillian doesn't have the ability to do. Like, Lillian in the English translation, she has to make a decision of what to translate, right? Like, she can't put in the alternate readings that English doesn't allow, or the, you know, vagueness that Togashi intended, because she has to make a point. She has to, like, actually translate it, right? She can't make everything vague posting. And the reason I brought this up is the coffin line. I haven't pulled it up right here, but as far as I know, the coffin that is referred to here, the kanji that used specifically, can't be used in coffin, but is more generally just used as like a concealing of the body, I think, of a dead body. Because it doesn't make sense here that in Saraynik's room he just has a coffin on handy that Salkov's gonna put him in, right? I mean, maybe maybe Saraynik does. He's weird. He's into some weird kinky shit. Who knows? But it makes way more sense that this is just like putting a blanket onto his body, or a tarp or something else. Because a coffin, there's not enough time for that. Like, who cares? And then Saraynik says, "Don't tell anyone about my body. Or my ability. Got it." He's a full-on hunter. He passed the hunter exam, right? Yes, that he is a temp hunter, I believe. He's not from the Hunter Association formally, but for the purpose of the voyage, he is a temporary hunter that was hired. But like, as a temp hunter, he has no power within the association, and he can't once the voyage is over, he loses his temp license, like, it's gone. So the illusion is ability. Salkov's trying to figure out what it is. There must be some kind of condition, and once fulfilled, you can't escape it. Not even Theta felt anything out of the ordinary. Saraynik is obsessed with the speed of his Zetsu. If this thing activates under Zetsu, it's already underway. I really can't feel a thing. I can't believe his nerve. Facing Benjamin with an incomplete move, he's still practicing. He's crazy or insanely confident in himself and his skills. Probably both. Thanks to that, I'll be able to witness your confrontation, try to analyze your ability. I swear I'll expose your ability for Theta's sake. I'm gonna take a little sippy real quick. I've been yapping this whole time. I need a drink. I wish I had a video or something that I could pull up so like you have like a little bit of enjoyment, but delicious, delicious. We need Theta back. Both him and Theta. Yeah. Um I love Theta too. I love that Salkov's going into the plot here because so I'm probably gonna have a whole section on Serenik's ability after this, and I'll probably make a shorter video on it. But IMO, the strongest part of Serenik's ability isn't that the ability is like broken is the strongest thing ever. It is that from like an external viewpoint, right? For like everyone else other than Serenik, an impossible to figure out ability, right? Like, you know Zetsu has something to do with it. You probably know closing his eyes has something to do with it, right? But how do you get to precognition, parallel futures, and then imparting the lost parallel future onto everyone else when he dismisses the ability, right? Like how does anybody get there? You know what I mean? Like that's such a esoteric, unique, specialist maneuver that is going to be really strong. It's going to be hard to figure out because there are quite a few exploits with Serenik's ability, in my opinion. But if you don't even know at a base level how it exactly works, that part is kind of covered up. You need to watch part 5? That's true. Yeah, Epitaph and King Crimson. Probably gonna figure it out somehow, some way. Yeah, I mean, it has to be figured out eventually. But I like at this point, it's just who gets there first. How do they get there first? Because excuse me, Serenik is only he's probably gonna have to use his ability pretty sparingly, right? Only when he needs it. But we'll get into that. I need to finish the chapter. Benjamin and everyone else kicks down the door. Follow me as I move forward. Shoot anyone behind me who moves. Roger. And then we get Benjamin glancing at all of the guards within the room. We also have that Haley tattoo artist from before, or assumedly Haley tattoo artist. We see everyone else. We see what's this guy's name? Conjidal? No, it's not Conjidal. I forget what his name is. You've been learning that in room 1014. Yes, take him in for questioning at the Central Justice Ministry. I'd read reports, but if you really started from a point of having never learned Nen, I need Kurapika as a teacher in the army. He really wants Kurapika. That's good. Good for Kurapika. He's got another job lined up after this. Good for him. That's important. Maybe Salkov will leak it down the line. Maybe. Pudding haircut guy, it does look like a little pudding cup. It looks like somebody got like a burger patty and just kind of stunk, popped it on his head. I like it. It's funny. Uh this is another thing. Serenik's personal chambers, or I guess the anteroom to his chamber, I believe from the map, is wide open. Serenik is facing forward. Salkov is kneeling next to him. Benjamin says, Zetsu, I'm surprised you can use Nen too. Serenik says, wanna try sparring? I believe this is brother supposed to be, or I guess big brother, I think is the intention there. And his ass gets hit with a fucking cannon. I think like as far as pages in succession work out, I think this is the top 10, like pretty easily. I think like maybe top 5 even. Who gave you permission to speak? I don't have time to waste with you. Fucking bars, man. What a great page to end off on. Also, we get to see Benjamin's back. I didn't know he had like that undercut thing going on. I don't know if that's interesting. Uh, yeah, this is such a fun end to the chapter. So I guess from 410 we can say that Benjamin's conception of who is left alive by the time that this scene happens, which is near 3 o'clock. He has about 9 hours left. Where is it? 4 princes left is what he says here. And we know that Zhang Lei and Loserus are 2 of the princes unaccounted for within here. I think the other two people are saying Mariam's definitely one, which makes sense. And then who's the last one? I don't know what people are on as far as the last missing prince. Uh, it's not Wobble. It's not. I guess probably Fugetsu. Yeah, that's probably the one. But Serenik died here. At least Benjamin thinks he died. Like for sure he did die. But Serenik didn't, and that's gonna be fun. Um, what else did I want to talk about? Oh yeah, do we anybody have any thoughts about what these jars are behind Serednik? These look sort of like the jars uh that he had like the blood, the fucking the red eyes, the crimson eyes, the scarlet eyes, sorry, from Kurapika's clan, like all the way back in like his throne thing, way back when. But these are not eyes. Like, are they organs, intestines, like shards, fetuses? Like, I have no clue. Human remains. Yeah, like I think I don't know. Human remains probably makes the most sense. Like this is part of his collection, I assume. I mean, it's literally on top of his like desk here, drawer, whatever this is. But I have no clue what those could even conceivably be. I mean, I guess that's really besides the point. Um, what else did we want to talk about? Oh yeah, I guess if that's our chapter wrap up, I think we're gonna talk about I think a big topic that I want to touch on, which is the have-nots curses. Because this is a pretty big section to talk about for a couple of reasons. We don't know. He has his tattoo artist with him, so I assume he has his collection here as well. I did two originally. I mean, I think it makes sense if he has his collection here with him, just because I think in early like 340 something, Mazai Stone. The reason Mazai Stone approached Karapika with about the Scarlet Eyes was that Mazai Stone completed a background check and like I'm assuming a clearing check on Serenik, and that's where the Scarlet Eyes were, right? There's that photo of him on his throne with like his whole smorgasbord of human remains behind him, right? I assume that's how they know, and so maybe he brought some of those on. Um, I don't know. Like who knows how many of his possessions they can really bring? Like presumably, if Pyro's head is among them, he had to have brought that. But who cares? That's besides my point. Um, we're gonna talk a second about how curses work, how have not curses work. Shouldn't Benjamin lose his R from the curse before it kills him? Yes, that is precisely one of the things I want to talk about. We don't know exactly how they work, but from all this dialogue here, we know that the have-nots are from a cast that was made for an afterlife companion thing for basically if a prince died young or royalty died young, an afterlife companion would be killed alongside them and put into their same coffin to kind of guide them to whatever holy land religion they have, and so they don't become like vengeful ghosts, right? Supposed to be an honor, but it wasn't. The afterlife companion custom got abolished, but the caste system of these people remained, right? And that's what these have-nots are. Second Prince Camilla gave all the have-nots an opportunity in her army. And with their overwhelming support of Camilla, they called for the reinstatement of afterlife companions, and with that, or with net abilities, they transformed into powerful curse assassins. Um, so they what it is they carry their target's name, they carry a photograph, a piece of their clothing, or a bodily specimen at all times, and just curse them under their breath constantly. And the longer that they curse them, the stronger the curse is, the better it is, the more efficient it is, etc., etc. And this is their full ability breakdown. Dust in the Wind, Hellfruit, an ability unique to have-nots. They carry the object, and to actually proc the curse, they need to burn the object, drink the infusion of the ashes, then commit suicide with the dagger to activate the curse. Um, and so we see that here. This is Moswana. Slits her throat, dies, locks eye contact in the same room, as close as she could get without dying to one of the guards shooting her, possibly. But I think the assumption here is that since Moswana was not one of these two that was outside of Camilla's room, that the second martial law got declared, Moswana started the preparations for the curse activation. She burned the thing, drank the infusions, and then after that, got here as fast as she could to activate the curse onto Benjamin. Because she is Benjamin's. She's the one that's been cursing Benjamin. If Benjamin activated the big red button, Camilla's probably the first place he's going to go. Like this all feels pretty pre-planned to that extent. Um, Sorry, I'm reading chat for a second. Um, yeah. So the Zetsu. This is the aura part that I think people are confused about. Once the curse activates, the target will be deprived of aura, and in the case of the most powerful curse, will be exposed to the force of the curse under enforced Zetsu, which will be fatal in a few hours. So that's like the highest tier of the curse. Um, but we also learn that I believe where is it? Granny here says that uh where is it? She says something about the efficacy. Oh, yeah, the royals defending the prosperity of the dynasty are protected by noble guardian spirit beasts. Impertinent curses sent from the safety of our own territory will be obliterated with the one sharp look. The only thing we have not have is our determination, the courage and sufficient preparation to perish close enough to touch the prince while looking to his eyes. How could our curse ever be successful or without that? So this isn't. We know that Benjamin didn't suffer the highest form of the curse because he was not put under enforced Zetsu, right? And we later see early on during the 1004 segment right here that Benjamin can not only sense other people's aura, but that he has an aura outline of his own still, right? So he's not in Zetsu. Um, Target will be deprived of aura. How dare you start the live without me? Brother man, girl, and NB pal. You saw the time. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's not my fault. Um, Benjamin still has aura here. So what's up with that? I don't know. Could Benjamin's spirit beast be protecting him to an extent? Could it be like a delay onset thing where as the curse continues, he will then get deprived of aura? Like it's not an immediate snap of fingers type thing. That's probably closer to what I would think happens. Is that as the curse prolongs, his aura weakens until Zetsu, and then the cursed spirits or whatever else get his ass and he dies. I think that's the idea. If anyone wants to challenge that, feel free to. But I think that's the safest read of what we know about, really. Um, but yeah, Benjamin's not gonna be feeling good pretty soon. Like TSK 17 is gonna hit his ass. The curse is gonna hit his ass. It's not great. Um, isn't he being boosted by Full Metal Alchemist right now? I don't believe he's being boosted by Full Metal Alchemist yet. I had my conception was that the Full Metal Alchemist plan was part of his death, not while he yet lived. Let's see here. Yeah, because he's deciphered the ability, but he has yet to like conjure or create a supplement for Benjamin's ability. That's probably what he's working on now, I would assume. Um, where is it? Guardian Spirit Beast would go. Where does he say like demand, let her think, to lay the groundwork for you to transcend? Collected curse. Pleasure. Guardian Spirit Beast's ability that Furyk deciphered using conjunction with Benjamin Patan. The succession battle was in a game. Will make me the spiritual core of the Cockin tree, taking the place of the cedar in ritual. I will be the guardian spirit of its leader. That will make me the highest power. Yeah. So I don't think it's activated yet. It's not like exactly explained. But like who knows? It's conveniently not explained. All of this is. I I have thoughts on Benjamin's ability because I had before this batch been working on a video going over the names of all of the princes and stuff. And Benjamin, if you read like there's a German reading of Benjamin where it was used as like the youngest of a family and the presumed last son of a family. Where like the Benjamin of the family was the youngest last kid. Because the parents weren't planning on having any more. And I always liked the reading that Benjamin, who is narcissistic and selfish enough that thinks that only he can lead the empire, would name his son Benjamin so that a Benjamin would still be able to take the throne, if that makes sense. Like he still gets to sit on the throne under a certain reading, right? And I think this idea with Benjamin Baton and passing his guardian spirit beast along also works pretty well with that, right? Where he is going to inhabit future hosts or something. Who knows? There's a lot to talk about there. Benjamin about to stack every debuff. He is. He needs to drink some milk or something. Who knows how that all works? Um, but yeah, the aura thing, like Benjamin has aura. It's gonna get worse, probably. He's on a death timer. Is there anything else that I want to quick touch on as far as the chapter itself goes? Uh Here, I'm gonna check my other monitor real quick. If you guys have any ideas specifically about the chapter or thoughts, theories, discussions, anything at all, write a comment, write a chat. I'll let those bank up for a second while I do something else. And then after that, we'll maybe move on to some other stuff. We will have to wait and see. Holy shit, there's 35 people. What the fuck? What are you guys doing here, man? Oh my god. I did not know there were that many people in here. That's insane. That's absurd. Um I think I flashed my desktop second thing. I guess I'm full screen. Yeah. I get on full screen. It's Land Illustrious. That's my desktop. I like that manga. Good manga. What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? Can't wait for losers GSB to infect him as well. Benjamin Button does die as a baby, right? Never saw the film. I don't know. I've yet to do my deep dive into like what Button, Benjamin Baton, like what all that could shake out to me. If Wobble is not in the Black Whale, wouldn't he just win since everyone else is going to die? Yes. That is his plan, I think. We don't know how all the Wobble stuff is going to work out, but that's a larger discussion that I'll probably pin for right now. What's Sari's plan? Serenik's plan, I was working on I think I have, where is it? I believe it's in my character sheet section. Let me thin out some of these tabs real quick. And then I make sure here, Serenik. All right. I was working on some Serenik stuff. So if we look at how Serenik's ability works, or our best conception of it, is that if he's in Zetsu and closes his eyes, he gets an immediate 10-second precognition, right? But he can't move during that time. He is stuck still, basically. And he is only able to move and actually alter the future after the 10 seconds in the real world has caught up to his precognition, right? So he gets a 10-second head start, but until 10 seconds passes and all that he saw comes to fruition, he can't move, he can't alter the future, he can't do anything, right? It is just simply a precognition. But where his power actually matters is when he's in Zetsu and he's past that 10-second interval or that threshold, which is what we see here. He's been in Zetsu for a hot minute, right? So he's in like parallel future territory. He's in vision shenanigan territory. And so, the idea here is most likely that excuse me. Serenik, right before he was shot, since he knows when he's going to get shot, opened his eyes, dodged out of the way, and depending on how much Salkov can amend the situation, there's 8 seconds or so of wiggle room until Benjamin turns his ass around and starts heading out, right? And within that time, the idea is just that Salkov throws a blanket on him, whatever, tries to hide the body, or tries, because Serenik, I'm guessing, is going to hide somewhere where they can't see him, and then Salkov's going to cover Serenik's body. But after the 10 seconds, it's not going to be Serenik's body, right? So that's like what the tarp is trying to cover up. Um, and then as for him getting Salkov's handgun, I have to assume that's worst case scenario prevention. Who I don't really know. Um, because it would be crazy if in parallel future, because like if he amends his actions, does that just immediately kill the other person? Like they have no idea that they're in that dangerous territory, right? They just fucking die, just get headshot immediately. I don't know how that works. If so, that's really broken because if he's just in Zetsu with his eyes closed, the second he opens them, he can just shoot you and you don't even see him pull out a gun. You just die, right? You don't even know that you died, but you die. Um Maybe this is going to be more testing of his ability to see that if he shoots Benjamin in his altered future, if that like how that plays out, right? I think that could be like figuring out how that interaction works could be part of it. Um I don't think we exactly know. Um, Siri's gonna disable it. Siri gonna shoot himself. King Crimson doesn't allow that, so I doubt that it will. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, this is quite a bit more powerful than King Crimson, all things considered. Um, I think the biggest question is how uh re-upping the ability works. Because we see only once in 387 when he like we see his perspective of all these events where like he opens his eyes while maintaining Zetsu, but then he closes them without fully dismissing the ability, without like exiting Zetsu. And so how that works, I don't know. That's a big question. It's very, very speculatory, so I'm not going to go too much more in depth into it. But yeah, Serenik is. I assume he's trying to test stuff out, get stuff underway. Wonder why he chose Butch of all people to accompany him. I don't know. I mean, I think Butch. Who was Butch assigned to? Was it Cacho? I'm trying to remember. Butch. I don't remember who Butch was assigned to, but I assume this is like Butch and Furikov are just not assigned to a prince. They're off duty, right? Because if we look at, well, I think it was 413 that we get that nice old map of the layout. Where is it? Yeah. We see this dude in 1013. We see Yoshihei and the other guy, Kanjidol, Rihan, Bobby Mina, Koven Toba. Or not, this is Koven Toba. This is some guy. Yeah, everyone is occupied except Butch and Fyrdikov right now, which that's just why he has them. They're just the ones open right now. I think there's not much more to it than that. Can't wait for the giant wall of text. Yeah, I always joke that a lot of Hunter x Hunter chapters are what I call Karapika's text adventure. It's just a visual novel sometimes. Not that that's a bad thing. I think it's quite enjoyable for the most part. I will say this batch, it was getting to a point, you know what I mean? Because we knew that like shit was gonna go down this batch. And the first two chapters was Karapika's text adventure. The like other 2/3 of 414 was Karapika's text adventure. And so I think I was kind of worried a little bit of like, oh God, how much more are we gonna get? But thankfully, like I think from here on out, we're gonna be kind of gunning it. I think we're going at a very brisk pace. If I had to estimate like when this batch is going to end, I think like right when I think like my best guess is that this batch will end timeline wise where 410 left off with the flash forward, right? With Benjamin going to the central justice ministry, central political ward, whatever it is. Um Hoping maybe we see this from Kaiser's perspective, but yeah. I love text x text. Yeah, uh I don't like text x text. Not because I don't think it's funny, but I think like there's already so much of a I think false conception of what the Succession War is from people who haven't read it, that it is just walls of text with nothing in the background. And it's very like circulatory, verbose, like dog shit text, which is true. That is like common, but I feel like text text is a little more degrading. Which prince are you personally rooting for? I fuck with Loserous. I don't know. um, I think Tyson was my favorite. It's part of why I made a video on her. I love Tyson. She's great. Um, but I don't know. Out of the ones that are still alive, like I can tell you who I'm not rooting for. Uh, Zhang Lei. I don't like Zhang Lei at all. He gives me the fucking heebie-jeebies. He's I don't know how to say. He's gross to me in a way that I can't quite put into words right now. I don't. Oh my god. One of my fucking friends, and like, I guess not in real life. One of my online friends who I've known for a while is here. What's up? How you doing? I don't like Zhang Lei. He's probably gonna last a while, but I'm not a big fan of him personally. Um, the coins, what do they mean? That is the question that I don't have a good answer for, sadly. Um, I think Tabepa I am interested in if I'm not personally rooting for her, if that makes sense. He's a status quo type of ruler. He is for the status quo, but I think more insidious to me is that he is like coercive, I guess. Like he's always talking out of the side of his mouth. He is like a quote unquote politician through and through, right? He can say one thing and mean something else. He's always planning behind people's backs. He like doesn't think any of his allies are really his allies. You know what I mean? Um I think the more and more we learn about him, I think like the brutality of his bureaucracy, I think is going to come into pretty big play. Um Jangle. That's it's funny that that autocorrected to that. Jangle is underrated. Nobody talks about him. I'm gonna start calling him Jangle. I really like that. Um, it's not yes, not personally invested in the cruelty. I think is a good way to put it. I like I was working on a themes and such video about this arc, and like the general idea is that this arc has to do with like the systems of society and the abstract impersonal harm those systems incur. And yeah, Zhang Lei he will design some devious systems. I don't like him a lot. Um yeah, Hulkenberg, I like Hulkenberg's always, you know, top of mind when it comes to princes, most enjoyable to watch, ones that you want to root for. Um we don't know like what his plan is yet. Obviously, I made a whole video on that. Um but my thought with Hulkenberg was always that his plan right now, his quote unquote way to win the succession war isn't to kill all the princes, but to put the dynasty of Khakeen into peril, right? Because he wants to get rid of the monarchy. That's his goal. And so I think the best way to do that is to show the fallibility of the military, of the monarchy, of that, like the people have the ability to revolt and to do something. And I think the best way to do that is obviously to kill Benjamin, right? To kill the head of the military, to like really embarrass him. And I think that's kind of what he's doing here. He also seems like somebody that like he would die if it meant creating the movement that would overthrow the monarchy. You know what I mean? Like I feel like that's pretty in line with what we've seen of him so far. Um I had also thought that like since he has his body swap thing that like he could just shoot anywhere in the ship, likely hit somebody, and now he's just gone. You know what I mean? Like he could Jekyll Hyde just and like be inside of someone for who knows how long. Which is pretty bad for everyone else. Because I mean, if Benjamin wants to conclude the war, he's got to find Hulkenberg's soul. That's like one of the things. Um, the stolen coin make Coven Toba spill Benjamin's beans to Zhang Lei. I don't think so. I believe what you're referring to is chapter, what is that, 414, I want to say. Um, or no, that's Karapika's, that's the rest of Karapika's text adventure. Is it 415? Is this chapter? Where's Coventoba? Oh, is it because I had the coin I got from Zhang Lei? Um, I think the idea there is that if we see like the Benjamin map that we get here, this is like Benjamin. This is the map of the tier one with Benjamin's guards POV and like the fog of war, right? So that's why like every place that there is a Benjamin guard is like filled in with like other people, right? Um, but Coven Toba's isn't, and Coven Toba's also he's in the prince's bedroom. He's in the master bedroom, and so I think the intention here is that Zhang Lei just isn't in his room at all. I think Zhang Lei's already escaped, which we know that he did during 410, right? How he knew to escape now, I don't think we quite know. But I don't think anything with the coins has happened yet, if that makes sense. Um, I don't know. Hulkenberg doesn't seem like an entirely good person. Why does he rock with Serenik? Yeah, I have some thoughts about Serenik. And how why Tubeppa and Hulkenberg seem like kind of like him a bit. Wonder what's up with their relationship. Really tidbit of interesting character we got. All right. You know what? I'll talk about it real quick. Where is that banquet chapter with Tubeppa and oh, dude, I'm on my ball today of knowing exactly when something happens in each chapter. Um, this is the conversation with Tubeppa and Serenik where Tubeppa proposes an alliance, right? Um, and one thing I want to note here is that Tubeppa is like, why does Tubeppa want a alliance with Serenik, right? Serenik's kind of a wild card from what we know of him. He kind of does what he wants. Like, why would she want that? And uh, I think there's two things that we can kind of infer here is that this is the first appearance of both Tubeppa's Guardian Spirit Beast and Serenik's Guardian Spirit Beast, right? From Tubeppa's, we've only seen it twice. Both times it has appeared is when she initiates cooperation with someone else. In both previous cases, Karapika, right? And with Serenik's case, his Guardian Spirit Beast appears when someone is either lying to him, obfuscating the truth, like mixing truth and lies into their words, or otherwise like being not completely forthcoming with Serenik, right? And it seems to operate on its own, besides from Serenik's conceptions of what is happening. And so I think that like with both beasts appearing at the same time here, I think it's sort of indicating that from Tubeppa's perspective, she is initiating cooperation with Serenik, right? But from Serenik's beast perspective, at least, Tubeppa is not being fully honest about her intentions with this cooperation, right? Like she has some ulterior motives here. I think that's why both of these showed up. But to sort of the point of why Tubeppa wanted a alliance with Serenik, my thought has always been that, you know, Tubeppa, she's a scientist, she's like a chemist, right? She loves constant variables. She loves constant things that she can work around, right? And most of the other princes that we've seen are, in a lot of ways, more unpredictable than Serenik is, right? The best thing about Serenik is that once he sets his mind on something, he is going to do that thing. If he doesn't like you, he is going to be honest that he doesn't like you. If he wants to kill you, he's going to be honest that he's going to fucking kill you, right? If Tubeppa like has this alliance, she at least knows that Serenik isn't going to be saying one thing, planning another, right? That whatever Serenik is doing, even if it's like not entirely beneficial, she at least knows that is what he is doing, right? You cannot say the same thing for Zhang Lei. You cannot say the same thing for Lucerus. You cannot say the same thing for Camilla, right? You can't say that for any of them. But I think Serenik is honest enough about his intentions to, you know, and not like guilty of them in a way, if that makes sense, to just be like, yeah, this is what I want. This is what I'm going to do. Do with that what you will. You know what I mean? So I think that's why Tubeppa made that alliance here, just because like he is the safest of the higher princes to have an alliance with under the lens that what he is doing and your knowledge of what he is doing is going to be correct. You know what I mean? That's my conception there of what exactly happened. I think part of it is that Sari is more intellectual to Beppa and Hulk do like despite everything else, and they have more problems with simple-minded brute force types like Benj or Cam. I agree too. I think going back to what somebody said about why does Hulkenberg like Serednik, I think that's just because Hulkenberg is against the monarchy, he is against the family, and Serednik as well. We don't know a lot about him, but he definitely seems to be a similar black sheep as far as the family is concerned. Of like nobody fucks with Serednik within the family, you know what I mean, among the other princes. And so I think like maybe as outcasts, they kind of have a link together, if that makes sense. Um, and then as well, they both seem pretty like on their own thing, I guess. I don't quite know. Um Cyridic seems pretty happy just doing his murder shit. And like also if Hulkenberg wants to get rid of the monarchy, Hulk Cyridic's kind of a good guy to be with because he's up to evil shit using his status as a royal prince, right? Hulkenberg has a lot of dirt, a lot of access to dirt in that sense to be like, hey, I don't like the monarchy. Look at what my fucking brother's doing. Look at what my sisters are doing. Look at what the royal family is up to. Are you guys all right with this? Because like I'm not. You know what I mean? It gives them access to dirt way easier, way more authentic as well. I think it's part of the reason why Hulkenberg kept up relations with Serednik. But I mean, also we've never seen them interact. We've never seen any of them with them. Like we don't know about Serednik's past. Who knows? Hello, 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 everyone. That's kind of my ideas there. Monarchy is cringe. It is a little cringe, all things considered. Where is it? I had a before for a while. I was working on I have a whole notes page about I like went into a lot of Wikipedias, was reading like political theory on different things of like what Cockeen's like political identity is because they like we get this term like the most silent revolution in history. Silent revolutions aren't a thing. Quiet revolutions, you could say, is a term that is maybe sometimes used, but silent was definitely not. I'd be interested to know what the original kanji intent here is in Japanese, but like if they're a parliamentary democracy, they're probably still like they have a monarchy, which means like the monarchy we've seen Nasopi use the royal family privilege, so like they're not entirely just like a headpiece. They're not like ceremonial, like they have power still. I don't know. Like it could be a constitutional monarchy, I guess, as like a subset. Who knows? That's it's getting into a whole bunch of other stuff. Sari seems to also like Hulk because Sari values excellency in people, and Hulk has made a name for himself outside of his royal status. Yeah, I think that's also a really good point. Um, Serednik, he's a quote unquote he likes high art. You know what I mean? He had that whole kind of fucking really cringe chapter, I think in 344, 345, where he like murders those two girls and he's like, oh, Ben, my man, like whoever his servant is, Mark, I think. He's like, these people, they don't even know their Nietzsche from their Hegel. You know what I mean? Um, it's he definitely has like that class of like snidely and smugly being into like higher media, and I think like Hulkenberg is like being an actual person fits into that. Does normal Cocking citizens know about the carnival? I have to guess not. Um, I like there's no way the carnival as it exists, the Carne Lavare as it exists, like people know about that and aren't upset as fuck. You know what I mean? Um, I don't know. There's one thing I was working on this in a video. The same thing I was doing like on my video about like all about Cockeen's like history and like what is all up with them. Um, one thing I always wanted to talk about, but I never had the opportunity to, was that like a base assumption about Cockeen is that like the succession wars, like they happen, right? But like, how does the citizenry feel about that? You know what I mean? Like, I have to imagine a system where the monarchy, the head of monarchy, the king is decided by a private succession battle amongst all the princes and all the evil shit they do. And then all the citizens are like, oh, all the princes died, and this one prince won, and then the king died, and now this prince is the new king. That's cool. That's all right. Like, sure, man. Hell yeah. King Nasubi. Let's go. Like, how does that? That feels such a like. That feels like such a like a huge. I don't like issue. You know what I mean? Like, how would like a citizenry be okay with it? Like, there has to be such a toxic society and system to live under. You know what I mean? Um, my thought was always that like part of the seed urn ceremony was like subtle memory manipulation, where it's like the people of Kakin. It's sort of like what Hulkenberg's Beast does, where it's like it rewrites your memories to the point where you don't feel that they are wrong. You know what I mean? Like we have this stuff with Shikaku, and he's like, "Oh, it is odd now that you pointed out that I'm sleeping while he's out." You know what I mean? Like he would not have thought anything was wrong unless it was specifically pointed out to him, and even then, he's like fighting back a bit. And so, like, maybe this kind of goes to like once the king is elected through the seed urn ceremony, this goes to like all cocking citizenry, where they're like, "Yep, all the princes died, and now we got a new king. That's it. Period. End of sentence." They just move on with their day. Um, I think like that would be my best guess. Um, there's also like I had another idea that like I we don't know when how open Cockeen has been with information. We know that like um oh god, what's her name? Borkson and like 408, 409 or whatever. Like she had to like steal like out CDs from outside of music bands and stuff. Like information within Cockeen is really restricted. I always wondered like if the most silent revolution in history was like the outside non-Cockeen view of what happened with Cockeen. Like if all the princes died, the king died, and a new prince came to power, and the entire citizenry was okay with that, I would say that is the most silent revolution in history. You know what I mean? If nobody got mad at that. So like maybe like this is the first instance where like like people can observe Cockeen's monarchy. I don't know. Who really knows? Typical election year. Um, Systems existing despite the people living under it not exactly liking them. Yeah. Um, I think my just extent with it is that I believe in three. Uh, when is it? 80, I think. Yeah, this is the talk with Messiah Stone. Um, and like he kind of goes on his talk about the Cedar and ceremony and stuff with these guards and about why it sucks and all this stuff. But like the guards here only learned about the Secession War a little bit before the voyage started, right? The Succession War as a concept is new information to them. And so I have to imagine if these military guards, police guards, but whoever these guys are, if they don't know about the Succession War, I can't imagine the citizenry does. I have to imagine like this is memory manipulation. Something is going on here. Yeah, yeah, Doc Han. That's what I was saying. Like the this is fine, this is normal. Like that is just how things work. Effect, that everyone has is from the Succession War. Like once it ends. Um, where do you think Togashi got his inspirations from? Oh, that was in comment to your previous term. I mean, I've done a lot of reading about different things. Most of Kakin is derived from Chinese history and then Greco-Roman parliament and governments and stuff. Most of the princes' names are Proto-Indo-European languages, so those would be like everything from like Germanic to Romantic to Slavic languages usually. Um, but like culturally, they are more closer to Chinese society, I believe, and then governmentally, they're closer to like Greek Roman governmental structures. But yeah, that's I have to do a whole other video on that. That's like a lot of stuff. They probably say it's an accident. When a lot of princes die. Yeah, that they said that there's I forget what chapter it is. There was something when somebody said like there was an accident in Kakin called the Shinrinkan accident, and then they like Kakin took advantage of that to do something. I don't know quite what that was or when that was said. Wait until the Succession War hits the poly market in Kalshi. That's actually really funny. Yeah, what are the prediction markets saying right now? Oh my gosh, yeah. Tabepa surge right now. Um, yeah, it could be one of the three treasures. We don't know anything about that. Um, I was a beloved chapter. I really like this chapter. This is a really good chapter. I had a lot of fun with it. Shit was moving, shit was going. Um, yeah. I'm trying to think. We've been going for a little bit now. We're gonna be going for an hour 10. We almost got 50 people in here. Oh my gosh. Hello everyone. Um, I think like as far as chapter thoughts, discussions go, I think that's everything. I covered all the points that I wanted to talk about, and we've been doing some, Q&A theory discussions just from chat with myself, talking about certain things. Um, if you guys have any, I don't know how much longer I'm going to do this, probably about like half an hour at most. If you guys have any of your own theories or your own thoughts about anything pertaining to the succession war, or like points of discussion that you think are interesting that you don't hear enough people talking about, and for some reason you want to hear my idea on it, type it in chat. If you can, I don't know, add an emote or something, or like put an exclamation point at the front or something, so I know that it's like a question. Put a question mark at the start. Holy fuck, that makes sense. And that way I can like kind of pin it and look at it later. Um, is it weird for them not to know when all princes except one die when there's a new king though? Yeah, I don't like I have no clue how the succession war starts stuff, because like it can't be entirely secret every single time, because like as long as the people know that there are multiple princes and then all of a sudden they all die at once, they know something's fucking off. You know what I mean? Um, did Nasubi let the silent revolution happen to gain legitimacy for the voyage in the first place? Maybe. I mean, the when I was going into my thing, like social imperialism versus parliamentary democracy isn't as big of a change as it kind of sounds in a lot of ways. Um, I think like if we take that this most silent revolution is when Nasubi came to power, I think this new framing of cocking is part of his plan. However that like works, I don't like entirely know. What else do we got? Is Hulkenberg immortal if he keeps body hopping? That's my guess. We know from the coffin sarcophagi room that um if a soul is still alive, right? The prince does not lose eligibility, and we see that Hulkenberg's flame isn't lit, which means that his soul is still out and about. And that indicates that yeah, he's not ready to fulfill the ceremony, to complete the ceremony. So that is my guess there. Um, what we don't talk about is how Illumi and the real Hisoka got their V2 tickets. Um, yeah, that is a good point. Correction, Illumi is not on tier 2, he's in tier 3. I believe we get that in 380. Yeah, they're in the double VIP. Or I guess no, they are still double VIP, right? Um, sorry, I was wrong of me. Uh, I don't does double VIP get all the way to tier 1? I believe it does, right? So yeah, he does have access there. We know that Ilumi wanted to stay here for business, and now he's at the political ward with like Messiah Stone. He gets a little room in the police station. What he's up to, I don't know. Who knows? And how Hisoka got his um like tier 2 badge, his double VIP badge, or tier 1 badge. I also don't know. Um, my initial thought was that either Beyond or Pariston, part of their scheme, is doing it. But that's a whole thing about like what I think Beyond is doing and why I think he's also like I think this is a whole discussion. I'm not going to get into it right now. If you want to know, if you want like to point a finger at somebody that is helping the Haley, like a Haley benefactor who is assisting them, I think it's Beyond. But that's a whole discussion. Do you think it's possible the kingdom won't exist after the contest since they will have destroyed themselves? Maybe, maybe not. I mean, we know Kurapika and Woble's win condition at this point is to have more than two princes alive at the end, and that way the seed urn ceremony fails and all of his banked Nen aura over the past centuries, millennia maybe, we don't know, is destroyed, like cocking as it was is no more. So I don't like, obviously we don't know what's going to happen, but I do think that is a plausible conclusion. Now that Killua and Gon are back in the story, how will Togashi handle Nanika? Why doesn't Killua just wish for the succession war to end and stop World Hunger 2 while he's at it? If you ask me, pretentious Hunter x Hunter fan, Gon and Killua still aren't coming back. I'm sorry. I was gonna make a whole video way before this batch got started about like why I think Gon still won't return. I think it goes against his character arc. I think it goes against his narrative arc. I think it undercuts like his entire story in most ways. And as far as Killua goes, just let him be happy with his sister, man. Like I don't personally, I don't want to see either of them back. Personally, I think their stories ended great where they are. I never want to see Gon come back. Killua, if the story kept going forever, maybe he can come back and do some stuff. But Gon, his punishment for being a selfish, destructive little kid is not having Nen and living a normal life. And I think that's a great punishment for him. Are you in the camp that Nasubi kills the last prince of and wait, are you in camp Nasubi kills the last prince of in the Nasubi gets killed camp? I assume you're talking about Nasubi like it kills the last remaining prince and harnesses their power. I don't believe so. I think like the Seed Urn ceremony as we know it has been going on for too long, as far as we know, like we can conceive of it. And for Nasubi not to like have been part of it, like I think Nasubi's pretty forthcoming in his honesty that like he is going to die, the next king is going to win, like whatever. So no, I think like Nasubi by the end of this arc, if the Cedar and ceremony is successful, he dies. Um is there any proof other than Crow stating that Hisoka got a prince in his back? We've actually never heard any reason, or anybody's given any reason why Hisoka is up there. We don't know. Is he just gonna keep body hopping and then the ceremony will never be completed? As in reference to Hulkenberg, that could happen. I don't think that's entirely implausible. Next chapter will POV switch to Illumi Trust. I think if we get a viewpoint within the central political board on tier 3 where 410 ends with Benjamin, we could see Illumi doing stuff. He could be there, who knows. Hisoka could have a badge and texture surprise it. Maybe, but like I don't know if he would texture surprise it. I mean, we don't know how their card key system works. If they use like NFC or any, is NFC around in 2000? Who fucking cares? It doesn't matter. Um, Maybe, but like I think Hisoka got invited here very intentionally. I don't think it was up to him himself to kind of come here. I think it was a package deal with something. Um, what's the plan for the colony in the first place? If instead of cocking itself, the colony gets the prosperity blessing and that allows them to gain the treasure of the Dark Continent. I mean, I don't even know if if the plan is necessarily to get to the new continent and for Kaki to start a colony. I mean, uh, Nasubi is pretty forthcoming, and I think it's 360 or 361 about what the seed urn ceremony, like what the succession war is about. Um like he refers to everyone on here as sacrifices, right? Carve out your own future. I don't even know if he wants to get to the new continent because like this is the largest succession war by leaps and bounds, almost assuredly. This is like 200,000 people. That's a city. You know what I mean? Like I think like if the Black Whale sinks and only a prince survives and some other personnel, I think the entire world would think that is just a tragedy. But now, like Nasubi has completed his giant succession war with a new prince. Like he got what he wanted out of it. I think making it to the Dark Continent as well is a bonus, if anything, at that point. What else do we got? Is the War of Succession for the Prince or for the Beasts? Are the princes truly important, alive or dead, to the final decision? Will the war really be stopped when they were never important? I'm gonna take a drink 1 sec. I wish I had something more for visuals. I guess I can pull up chat. You can see what I'm responding to. I guess that works. Um, for the Prince or for the Beast, or the Prince of the Important. I mean, I think it's a package deal. We see Nasabi early on with his weird fucking titty demon guardian spirit beast, like right when he's introduced. Um, and like he talks about before that like Nen beast skilled in logistical support attached to a king with a talent for long term vision and deep design work can work wonders. Um, I think like the idea of the ceremony is to choose the prince that is the best at leading a kingdom, that is the best at understanding systems to make Kaki and continue to prosper, and hopefully their beast helps them with that, right? I think that's mostly what it is. So like, as far as the question is like, are the princes of the beast important? I think it is both. Why did the spiders accept Zolas into the troop? Don't they have a revenge? Um, I don't believe they have a blood feud with the Zoldycks directly. I think like there's that conversation in York New where Silva or Zeno or and Crollo they have like that fucking fight, and I think Crollo says that like one of the Zoldycks killed a previous member, but like Crollo doesn't hold any bad blood with that. Um, my thought was like Kaluto joined. Why they let him right? I think join. I don't know. Um, and then why they let Ilumi join? I mean, I like they know Ilumi. Ilumi knows them. Like they probably aren't fucking close, obviously, but like fucking Ilumi had a prenup to kill Hisoka, and if the Phantom Troop wants to kill Hisoka, I think they can trust that Ilumi won't interfere with them along the way. And so at that point, it's kind of just added support. Always seemed to me that the important big moment with Gon and Killua is showing how much they mean to Karapika and him earning Oda's trust completely, not with them coming back. I agree. I think that was fan service for us, a callback, more than anything else. I don't think it was like fucking every massive YouTuber clickbait merchant said that like Gon and Killua are returning and the promised Neverland, whatever the fuck. No, I'm sorry. And Gyro's not coming back either. If you want to know who Gyro is, um, fucking spoiler alert, I was gonna make a whole video on this, but we're doing it now. Spoiler alert, Gyro's in the fucking manga. Gyro's in the Succession War. Do you guys have any guesses who Gyro is? Gyro's in the arc very prominently. Do you guys know who Gyro is? I want to see some guesses because I think it's pretty fucking obvious who it is. Um, yeah, I think Gyro as a character is scrapped. I think the idea for what Gyro would have become has been repurposed. Can I pin comments? What can I do with these? It does not even fucking let me. Um, can I pin multiple shit? I don't even know how that works. I'm gonna pin this guy's message. I'm sorry. Oh no, it's just the one. Well, I've removed the pin. All right, sorry. What do we got? What do we got? Camilla, Morena. Yeah. It's Morena. You guys are on the money. It's Morena. Um, I think Morena is a much cleaner and much more interesting direction for Gyro to go, right? Like Gyro, from what we know, he was treated shit by society. He was like laying bricks since he was a child. He hates humanity because everyone abandoned him, right? Um, and he was reborn through the Chimera Ant, but because his hatred for humanity was so strong, he his personality did not go away, and he was heading towards the Meteor City, right? And so like him heading to Meteor City, like narratively, I think implies that he is going to talk with the Phantom Troop, because the Phantom Troop are also people who have been forsaken by humanity and who dislike humanity at large, right? There's that kind of similarity there, and I think like Gyro going there is narratively setting up an arc of tension between their two ideals of what like how that all works out. And Morena covers all of those parts very satisfyingly. Morena, where is it? I have like little pictures of Morena that I want to pull up. There we go. For visual's sake. Like Morena was forsaken by humanity. She was treated not even as human, but as flesh, right? Very similar to Gyro, who said that he wasn't even human. She has a hatred for humanity. She was also reborn as someone else, but actually it's the opposite of Gyro. where Gyro got a new body with the same mind, Morena assumed, well, whoever she was before, she assumed the identity of Morena, but now Morena is acting differently. She is visually the same, narratively identity wise, completely different. She is driven to destroy humanity. She has past links with the Phantom Troop, as they covered in my Tyson video, right? Like, I think everything that Gyro was set up to narratively do, Morena is just doing now. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's just kind of what it is, because like, going on themes and such, like, the thematic core of this arc feels very much like Karapika, Crollo, and Morena. They all have very similar backstories, very similar ideals. They even have stuff with their abilities where like Morena grants abilities, Crollo takes abilities, and Karapika can both take and grant abilities temporarily, right? Like, you already have that trinity there. I mean, there's a whole slew of other stuff. The fucking gratuitous Christian iconography as well. Like, they're all very linked. Um, Oito is raised poor. Where are the poor? Meteor City. Going to clear when you go to Meteor City to find Oito's sister in a Meteor City. Going to meet Gyro. I don't think so. We don't know where Oito grew up. Um, she has an identity and shit, so like, assumedly she wasn't in Meteor City. And also, Meteor City is just on a completely different continent than Meteor City is. Like, Meteor City and the Cockine Empire on different sides of the earth, or the ocean. So yeah, I don't know about that one. Did he shapeshift? Also, can we see that Marina will end up dying, and how? Um, I don't. Togashi never promised, in my opinion, that Gyro is going to come back, but that's more stuff later on that I don't want to talk about entirely right now. I'm gonna go back up to another question because I think there was one that I missed. Who do you think Krillin was calling the last time we saw him? I don't know. I think one thing I can say about Krollo calling people is that I think we are being misled a little bit. Or I guess we were given track to misread what his intentions were. Um because at the same time we know that Dogman is looking for a specialist, right? And I think the idea here is that Krollo is looking for an ability. That's what like we are led to believe, especially with some of his dialogue where he wants to find an ability, but it sounds like he's more finding somebody that allows him to get closer to said ability. Um, but like, one thing you have to remember is that the Haley, their abilities are highly, highly specialized for what Morena wants to do on the ship. But Krollo only steals abilities, right? This love like telephone Nen ability that this woman had, like, she just wanted to find hot boys and girls or whatever, or like find people near her to like be lovers with, to be romantic with. This ability, maybe it can be used to find Nen ability stuff, maybe, but like, the ability was not created with that purpose, and I don't think Corello is able to use that ability for that purpose, like Dogman can with his own custom enhancement of smell. Thoughts on Benjamin and Camilla having strong Izanami and Izanagi symbolism? Chris, you'll have to go with that into that a little more in depth. I don't know what that's referring to. Um, what else we got? You believe Kurilo Kurapika team up? I do. Whether that's with the Longi contract, I don't know. Um, but for Kurolo's side of thing, I think Kurapika is a good ally to have. On Kurapika's side of thing, Kurilo is an amazing ally to have. Um, and while they definitely aren't friends, at this point they don't have insane beef with each other. Um, but the main thing is that Krollo can get people into the spider. And we know that Kurapika's chain jail, the one that he used on Uvogen, the one that enforces Zetsu with chains that you can't break, that basically just like contains somebody entirely, only works in Phantom Troop members, right? So from Kurapika's point of view, if Kurapika can get Krollo to get someone to join the spider, like Sarai Nick or someone else, now Kurapika can use Chain Jail on that person, right? Now he can use his pretty much strongest combat ability on them. I also had that idea with like maybe Cyranic gets accepted into the spiders. Now Kurapika can use chain jail on him, and now like Cyranic is just stuck in enforced Zetsu. He's like a canary in the cold mine that like Kurapika just has on a leash to like scout out like what's gonna happen in the next 10 seconds. I always thought that was a funny idea. I don't think that's gonna happen, but like who knows really, I guess. Um think it's possible the kingdom won't exist after the contents as they will destroy themselves. For instance, what if something happens that keeps the prince's bodies away from the coffins? Because if shit goes down the entire ship, I don't see how they would be able to get them there. Yeah, I mean, we've seen that the we've seen that the sarcophagi room's on tier 1, and we know that tier 1 is on a ship that is very plausible that it detaches separately from the rest. So they don't go down with the ship, right? But I do think they would be pretty cognizant of getting the bodies as quick as they can. I mean, they got Kacho's body very quick. I have to assume if somebody dies below, they'll be able to retrieve it. You know, some Men in Black Secret Soldier style. How exactly that works, I don't know. I do think like it's hard to know how Togashi ends arcs. He always goes with something that you don't expect, which is great. Even if it's not narratively satisfying, which I also like. And as far as like to this point, the conception for the end of the arc has always been somebody is the new prince. Who is that going to be? But now we know that the competition itself can be basically annulled. It can be like taken away from. So I could see that being an ending, but like what specifically, I don't know. Um First timer, binge your videos. Think you're great. Thank you very much. What do you think about Tubepa's GSB potentially producing an antidote for whoever is infected with TSK-17, be it Camilla or someone else in the future? I did think that is a good question. I mean, what Tubepa could do, I don't know. I have had thoughts that like if TSK-17, we know it can mutate quickly, and we know that it can spread to other people. How easily, we don't know. But like with how prominent TSK-17 has been in the arc so far, I do think that like a TSK-17 outbreak on the lower decks could be a plot point. Because with how much focus TSK-17 has gotten, it would feel really weird if it's like never mentioned again, or if it's not like a major player for the entire arc going forward. You know what I mean? And so to that end, like maybe Tsubepa and Cheadle, you know, get my boy Leorio in there. Maybe they have to start working on a cure for TSK-17. Who knows? We'll have to see. Rose backstory shows also assumed a new identity due to how the world treated him. If Gyro appears, simply means he'd be yet another example executed differently in a role. So I wouldn't brush aside Gyro yet. Marina is enough to satisfy any cravings, though. Yeah, I agree. I just think the like like Togashi, like the way that people talk about Gyro is if like it's fucking it's what Togashi promised to us 2,000 years ago. I just don't agree with the Viz translation. I do get where that misconception comes from, but if you read the original or more direct translation, the narrator is not saying like we won't know until they meet. It's saying that we wouldn't know how an interaction between these two would go since they had not met, and we would not know if this was beneficial or not until the day where they might cross paths. It was never like they will at some point in the future cross paths. It was never like outright stated. That was something that got lost in translation in English, that I think produced that like mass misconception. The woman wins the succession war. Do you think she ends up with multiple husbands as queens? Yeah, that's a good point. Because we know that like part of the thing is that like fucking a dude can impregnate multiple queens, but a queen, if the ruler, the head of the monarchy is a girl, she can't exactly, you know, get banged up for multiple dudes at the same time. So I don't know. I don't know how that would end up. I don't know how that would all work out. Just join your just join, love your vids. Thank you very much. You think the story about Sari setting the record for gun disassembling and reassembling will play into why he asked for Salkov's gun? I don't think so. I think Salkov's gun is just maybe a hypothesis. I talked about this way earlier in the stream of like testing what his ability can do. Because if in parallel future, if in his new future that he forges once he dismisses the ability, if he just shoots Benjamin and now Benjamin just dies in the real world. That's insane because Benjamin could not react to that. There's nothing he could do there. And I think Sari is trying to test what that outcome looks like for himself. And I think that's why he has the gun there, is to sort of figure out what that interaction is. Um, I think the gun disassembling, reassembling point, I think that just has to do more with Serenik's friends and some more characterization with Serenik himself. Um, what's the point of introducing him then? I mean, um, I think the point of introducing him is that Togashi didn't know what was going to happen with the Chimera Ant arc. Gyro's chapters were, I think, 202, 203. That is less than a sixth of the way through the Chimera Ant arc. The king wasn't even born. I think the previous chapter, Poof was born. Yuppie wasn't even born yet. The Royal Guard weren't even all there. You know what? Like, Gyro was so early in the Chimera Ant arc, that, like, I think it's very plausible that Togashi didn't know where the Chimera Ant arc was going to end up, and he just wanted to set some things up for himself, because Togashi doesn't plan out all of the arcs. He kind of he plants seeds that maybe he comes back to later, maybe he doesn't. I will admit that, like, Gyro is a pretty out of left field seed to plant and never come back on, but, like, again, it's his story. I don't think he promised it to us. It's not like One Piece rules where everything matters. I think it is a plot point that he planted that he maybe had planned to come back to in the future that I don't think he plans to now. You believe that Terra Sandwich, just like Hulkenberg, was swapped and is in fact Dwazel's son? No, I don't believe so. If you want to point anything about Serenik's birth, I mean, he's the Beyond kid. He's the prince that Beyond fathered. I think that's, if there's any needle to drop with Serenik, I think it would be that. I don't think Dwazel's son makes sense because I don't know what that gambit would get for either him being Serenik, Unma, or Dwazel. I don't know what that I don't know what all that happens to. Jing and Pearson up to? They are, yeah, they're having hot yaoi sex, I'm afraid. Hot middle-aged yaoi sex. They're just chilling on the main continent. I don't know. Was a relation between Terra and original Haley boss, who Fourth Prince was a benefactor of. Could he have been Terra's father instead of Beyond Nasabi? Maybe. We don't know the previous Haley boss. We don't know how Mafia succession works. We know that they're with the theater and ceremony, that there is some sort of ceremony of succession. Um, but yeah, I don't think, I think Serenik's father is going to be beyond like Mafia stuff. I don't see it. Could there be more with Mafia's previous leader that we could get into? I think there is. I think there's some information there, but I don't specifically know that. Izanami and Izanagi are the creator sibling deities in Japanese mythology. Izanami, the goddess of the underworld, and Izanami, the male creator deity. The Japanese royal family claimed divine patron Amaterasu also originate from Izanagi. Izanagi in this case being Benjamin, and Camilla, Izanami, Amaterasu being Benjamin's Nen beast. That's an interesting idea. I'll have to look into that. Yeah, I don't know. If you want to look at some Japanese lore and mythology stuff, there is quite a lot with Kacho Fugetsu that I didn't include in my video, specifically about no NHO, which is like traditional Japanese theater, that has quite a lot of similarities with Kacho Fugetsu's plot so far that I think is interesting, but I'm not a Japanese cultural expert, so I didn't go into it. But that's an interesting idea. I don't dislike that. Pepper might be Unma's child. For being honest, I don't really care about Gyro's plotline. I find his origin compelling, but not enough to stretch the story. I agree. Works as a symbolic character. You're on top of the roads. Yeah, I agree. Gyro was, he was a means to an end for, hammering home the ideas that the Chimera Ant arc was going for. And I think this Succession War is very much a Chimera Ant arc thematic follow-up and supplement. So yeah, I think that's a good take. If Sari is Beyond's son, he wouldn't have a Beyond curse attached to him, right? I've heard some theories that Salkov is Beyond kid. Yeah, Beyond is a Beyond, or Salkov is a Beyond baby. That is true, but Serenik isn't cursed by Beyond. If the curses are meant to benefit a prince, it makes sense that Serenik would be that prince. I was working on a whole video um, talking about Voracious Drake's Soemono side sacrifice theory about what the Beyond Baby curses do. I highly recommend you read it. Very interesting stuff. I was going to incorporate into a video that should hopefully come out soon. But his idea is just that like the Beyond Baby sacrifices aren't meant to take out princes because like that kind of sucks, right? If Beyond wants his son to win the war, like wants his prince that he fathered to win the war, why would you make curses that target the other princes? The succession war is so dangerous that like you would want your son to live, not everyone else to die. You know what I mean? And so his idea, based on some of the linguistic evidence of like the kanji that Togashi used, was that the Beyond Babies are actually sort of horcruxes for Beyond's prince child, where if Serenik gets hit or gets killed, that a Beyond Baby dies, and then Serenik is revived with their aura, with their ability. And I think that's really fun reading. I think that makes a lot more sense than the Beyond Babies targeting other princes. And I think that's pretty fun. Um, we know if Suri can see Nin abilities. Melly's solo activates feels pretty convenient. I don't know. The cutting of the vision there actually isn't when his ability ends. Yeah, I can actually pull that up. When was that? 387, I believe. If we look in the chapter, Serenik ends his Zetsu right here when when Theta's about to shoot him, right? So right here is when his 10-second altered future starts, right? And so he moves out of the way, and then she's standing there, she shoots, and everything happens. He starts thinking, blam, the gun goes off, and then he is in the Nen environment, right? He didn't see this happen in the future. He only saw the gun going off in the future, right? And so the 10 seconds of what he saw ended here, and then that's when the flute ceremony happened. So he wasn't able to see that with his precognition. That is something that happened immediately after his 10-second precognition occurred in the real world, if that makes sense. Type of stuff is only interesting if it involves Rihan going behind Benji's back to actually loves underlying betraying trust. Yeah, that's true. I like that. Haley, artist in Terra's room. Yeah. Kurapika, Crollo, like Phantom stuff, and the Haley, I think all their backstories are interlinked, and I think we're starting to get some of that evidence now, but I will enjoy seeing more of that. Linked a video from a French YouTuber from this week. He made a theory about physical similarities and links between princes and supposed cursed sacrifices. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure that they have any bearing. I don't know how that all works out. But I don't know. If you want to look into anything, you can look into like the etymology of the names of Beyond Babies, because if Furikov and Salkov are both Beyond Babies, they have that Cove suffix, right? So you can look into that. Some homework if you really want. Like Makima, that's a good theory. Low key, a little disappointed with the have-nots seeming to have the same ability as the Beyond Curse. I don't know what's that in reply to. I haven't watched Chainsaw Man, so I don't know about Makima. But Super Bass, Notice How Jangly, and Balsamico Conjugal, and Tyson, Longy, and Hulkenberg, etc. Yolix? That sounds like an interesting video. I might have to check that out. I wonder if Series abilities upgraded its time limit. I don't think it's upgraded. I think he's just trying to figure out how to use it well. His ability is preemptive, not reactive. So he has to be in Zetsu for 10 seconds before he really gets any use out of it. So I think that's kind of where that ends. When Benjamin dies, sooner or later, whom will the military command pass? That's a really good question. I talked about it a little bit in my Kaiser video. I think like if Benjamin dies, Balsamico, I think would probably be next in line. We don't know exactly how Talky military affairs work. We know that Benjamin's deputy military advisor, which as far as we know, is the highest role. But like, if Benjamin dies, Balsamico would probably get the Benjamin's role, right? He would go up. And then if Balsamico dies, who knows how that works out? Like he could potentially like give the military affair to like Kaiser or something. Sorry, I'm burping. But yeah, I don't know. I think the only thing is that Like if the military head is appointed by the king, like Nazubi kind of has to be pretty hands off there, right? Because that is like appointing a new military advisor is a pretty big thumb to be putting on the scales of the war, right? Like I don't know how that would all play out for him. Hulkenberg has meth. That is just not true. All sacrifices are linked with blood. Yeah, that's true. What if Sarah fucked up the timing? He just straight up died. I mean, he wouldn't. As long as he's like after the 10-second like threshold, he can't really fuck up the timing. He just has to wait until right before Benjamin moves to shoot, and then dodge out of the way, and then that initiates the changed future 10 seconds. There's ability is instant. The moment he enters Zetsu, he experiences in 10 seconds instantly. He experiences the like epitaph precognition of the next 10 seconds, but he cannot change those 10 seconds. He is standing still. And it's only after standing still in that Zetsu state for 10 seconds that he has caught up to his precognition. And now the next 10 seconds he sees is a continuous moving window of what happens next, right? And after that, now he can move and now he can alter the conception of others when he dismisses the ability. That's what we see with Theta. Why do people believe now that Longi is a silent majority of secret users because Furikov identified her as a secret Unang user all the way back in the previous batch? Yeah, it's just a misconception. Longi is not a silent majority user. I can quash this pretty quick, I think. Um, Furikov way back when said that there are four Nen users here. One of them was the maid that Silent Majority was on. One of them was forget the other one. I think it was Bergen that died or something. Regardless, this was the last Nen user that he sensed. And since Silent Majority hasn't been found yet, he's like, oh, this is the Silent Majority killer, right? And then we learned that Longi definitely isn't. And when everyone comes back out, Furikov is confused. No evidence they fought. There was nothing unnatural. Was she crying? What happened? Feels something different. If it was Longi's attack, it could be something remote. Difficult to tell the conditions. Blah 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 blah. Yeah. I mean, Silent Majority. I have no thoughts on particularly, but yeah, Furikov is just mistaken here. He just assumed that it was her ability because he was assuming the user was in the room, which I think we can safely say is not the case now. If he's testing his ability, if he can hurt, kill people in that 10-second, it would also be a great limit for his ability. Yes, I talked about that before when we were going through the chapter. I think that's exactly what Cyrenik is doing with the gun that he got from Salkov. Feel the only way Siri is dying is by some massive blast or getting poisoned. Yeah, it's we don't know how Siri is going to die yet. I mean, hopefully he's gonna live for a while now. I had seen I wish I could pull it up. Somebody on the Reddit had said that maybe Serenik could be used to farm EXP for like Morena's Contagion Haley stuff. Because like what if a Haley member shoots Serenik, but then Serenik dodges using his ability, but like does the Haley member still get the XP because they saw that they murdered somebody? Like, could they just time loop Serenik to like quick farm EXP exploit style? Who knows? I'm gonna try. I'm gonna wrap this up pretty quick here. We've almost been going for 2 hours. I'd like to go for maybe 10 more minutes at most. So more larger questions, more circular questions, or like vague stuff. I'm gonna have to skip over for now. I'm sorry, guys. Well, they were 11 is evading a mind reading ability, so there's that. That's true. Yeah, they the silent majority user within their dialogue that we can see, they use the ore pronoun, or is it a honor? No, not an honorific. In Japanese, which is the masculine way of referring to the self. Um, but the way that pronouns and honorifics work in Japanese is different. Like they're not as hard set as they are in English and other languages, where like a woman can still use ore to refer to themselves. It may be a little weird, but like that is a thing that can happen. Same thing with like boku, I think. So like who knows exactly how that works out. I do agree that's a good piece of evidence, but I don't know if that's like a crazy smoking gun. How severe martial law will be in terms of the arc length, you team palace invasion or high, leading to a more stalemate time. Personally, I think the fuse lasts longer. Yeah, I my whole thoughts for martial law ever since like we saw the flash forward in 410 is that the least dangerous part about martial law is Ben. Like I think the real danger of martial law right now is like how all the other princes and all the other players of the arc react to martial law. Um, because Benjamin, we don't know all what he's going to do. He's just trying to gun it to end it, right? But like, how is Crappie gonna react to this? How is Morena gonna react to this? How is the Phantom Troop gonna react to this, right? All of those takes as well. Like, who knows how that all plays out? And I think like this is not Palace Invasion territory. I think this is the big shakeup that is going to lay the groundwork for the next like 20 to 30 chapters, if that makes sense. I've assumed that Beyond has a child among the princes because Longi said so. Um, Partially because Longi said so. I mean, obviously Longi doesn't know the truth herself. These are all her own conceptions. I think it makes sense for Beyond, who has planned for this thing to happen, who has planned this journey for so long, for decades at this point. I think it makes sense that he has a prince that he fathered. I also think retroactively, Hulkenberg being Unma's son adds more credence to Saradnik being Beyond's son, just because if Unma is down to clown to, cover one of her children and have Dwaddle be the supposed mother of him, I think Unma might be down to clown to have one of her sons be Beyond's, if that makes sense. Like the theory that the maids have the collective net ability, making them silent majority. Yeah, I agree. I think it's interesting if silent majority is more of a group or like passive inherited ability with no actual user. I think that's a fun idea. Yeah, the farming Sari for EXP stuff. You can conceivably believe it could be a ore pronoun using woman, but in this manga, no, as another Japanese speaker, very strict degrees. I agree. I was just trying to say that like I think it's evidence to point that it is a masculine person that is using it, but like at this point we've only like we have so vanishingly little about silent majority that I want to separate all the facts from like the assumed facts of the manga. Um but like silent majority, like I have no thoughts on the idea. I think it's kind of a moot point to discuss it because like the monkeys on typewriters that are the Hunter x Hunter fan base, I think have crunched out every permutation and possibility of what silent majority is. So like I don't really have anything to add there. Friend of mine compare this to the birth of Merum, essentially. I think I agree. I could see that as sort of like a status quo change that changes the objective to the arc. I can see that. I don't think it's gonna be as black and white, but like I think if this batch ends where 410 ended, I think the next batch is going to be the bulk of like the quote unquote palace invasion portion of martial law. Uncle would counter terror sandwich hard. That's true. He could. I like the silent majority group theory. Like, sure, it can have a main person operating it, much like Hulkenberg's ability, but ultimately it's empowered by the collective. Yeah, I think that works with silent majority. Also, like for those unaware, silent majority was not originally a political term. That's how it's used in America and English, but like, I don't know if that's the exact intention of what Togashi's going for. I mean, who knows what their intention is? Obviously with the like then there were 11 sub name, it's implied that like imposter things are part of it because then there were 11 was a manga that like 10 people were in space and they got to a planet and now there's an 11th, right? So like then there was 11, then there was an imposter is kind of what that's getting at. um so like I always like the idea that like it was not a person in particular that gives the ability. And like maybe now that like since most of Benjamin's guards abilities all have to do with media whether it be Full Metal Alchemist or Yu-Gi-Oh or Lord of the Flies or whatever else. Like maybe Silent, like then there were 11 fits into that, but like I don't think so because like who would that be? You know what I mean? I don't know. Are you in the camp that Zhang Lei is doomed going down to his mafia's base because he will be a sitting duck for the Haley there? Um, I don't know. I everything with Zhang Lei and the mafia, I think, is pretty in the air right now. We don't know what's all going on, right? Like, I think GU is the like as a mafia family that is like not the Haley, obviously. Of the GU and the Char, the GU seem to be the most combat oriented so far. Like they have Henrig, they had Lynch, they have okay, I forgot the guy's name again, Zakuro, right? Like they have people who can fight, whereas the Char haven't really been shown to have that yet. So I think there could be something there, but like I think if Zhang Lei is going down to his mafia family, I think that is more for protection, like immediate protection than anything else. Um the Haley could be blocking exits, but I don't exactly know how that would all work out. Um Hello, is my Kira? I'm so bad with words, man. Full double meeting, like there's an imposter, but also there's 11 people channeling the ability. Yeah. Um, I think that's it. This stream went on for a lot longer than I thought. It was a lot more successful than I thought. There's like fucking 50 people in here. It's actually insane to me. It's absurd to me, quite honestly. Um, if you guys haven't hit all the buttons that like make the numbers on my end do stuff, please do. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the fucking whatever button. I'm really close to 1K. I get AdSense with that, which like not that I'm gonna make any money, but like that's funny regardless. So yeah, we'll answer a couple more that wade their way in, but I'm kind of done with most of the questions. If you just have any other smaller comments, you can type them out. But we're wrapping up at this point. Motives baffles me. If they work for Wobble and killing all the guards makes no sense. If they work for any other Prince Queen, what the fuck? Hasn't done nothing for such a long time. At this point, I just need to see more info of them. I'm in the same spot. I don't know when. I don't know how much Silent Majority works. I think it's very odd. What the fuck are the hearts? What are these? Why do people? Is this something you guys do? I don't even know what that does. I've never seen that before. I don't watch YouTube streams. I have no clue what that mechanic is. Um, what do we see? Your fault for making good content, I suppose. I need to do some more stuff. I have videos banked up, but I've been trying to like redo my Obsidian because Obsidian updated. I guess it is. I guess you guys do that. Okay. Like Obsidian updated and it broke a bunch of my plugins, and so I had to down patch. And then I was messing with more visual stuff, and I've just been doing a whole bunch of shit that is not actually working on a video. So I've been working on a pretty comprehensive and large scale Beyond video for a bit now. It's going to be going over everything about Beyond up to this point, and then talking about his Beyond babies and like what all of his schemes are, what Beyond wants, like what is his purpose in the arc to an extent. And then after that, I'm gonna make a Haley video. Going all about the Haley, how all their abilities work, how the doors work, how the hideout works, etc., etc. Um, and a little tidbit for you guys. I think the Haley is either has no like outside benefit, like beneficiary or benefactor that gave them their position, but if there is, I think it's beyond. So, as long as there's something cool, it's not killed too soon by either the Haley or HxH or Forgetsu. Be with Hawk possessing them or not, I'm happy. Yeah, I don't like. No, I don't think it's a bad theory that Hulkenberg is possessing Losers. It's just a theory I personally don't like. Because how boring is it the first time we see Losers do something, it's not actually Losers doing something. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's not that satisfying to me, but I could see it happening. Def, do this again, please. Yeah, I want to, I want to do more live streams, more like community building stuff like this. We'll see how that all plans out. I'm hoping to do another stream just like this after the next chapter comes out, and hopefully for the rest of the batch. I want to keep doing these around noonish, just so like the official chapter has been out for an hour, so I can like pull it up here, And then also like nobody else is streaming during this time. It's a pretty dead zone for me as far as like getting viewers. And also, you guys have already read like either Voracious Drake's translation or the Togashi Troops translation or anything else. So like, I don't know. You guys have already read it. It's not that big of a deal. Tyson Nuke. Love to see more losers. Beyond will be interesting. How can I send you the link for the video? They don't appear in your chat. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how. I probably have to change some like settings on my end for that. When it's community moderation give messages in your live chat. I'm at no moderation. Um. Oh, hold comments with hashtags and URLs for review. Can I? Is that like a place I can go to? I don't know. I don't. Stevie, that was a French YouTuber, right? Maybe you could just drop the title in chat, and if somebody wants, if people want to follow up on that, they can. It looks like the actual link itself. I can't figure out how right now how to get that all through. So if you want to do that, feel free to. Nasabi's behind the Haley. I disagree. 1 hour is good since I'm an official reader. That's like honestly impressive for being an official reader in fucking in today's ecosystem. Because spoilers come out like Wednesday night, man. I couldn't imagine having to wait for the official all the way on Sunday, like 4 days later. You're a trooper. All right, there you go. There's the title and video from Yolix about like the princes and how they relate to the Beyond babies and any hereditary linkage there. Um, but I think that's it. I think I'm gonna hit the big red button on my end to end this. Thank you all for joining me. Sincerely, this has been a lot of fun. I did not think this would be as successful as it was. I appreciate all of you for being here. I appreciate all of you for watching my videos. It's very, very cool that I make things and people like them. That's very fun for me. Um, Dodge the Con Killer with stuff was a minefield. I can, yeah, for sure. Lazarus Loserus. I have to log out Twitter every Thursday. Yeah. Oh, all right. This was fun, but I gotta end this sometime. So you guys have a good rest of your day. Hope you hope you have a good rest of your Sunday. I will hopefully see you guys soon in the next video. So until then, see ya.